This is Ginault Silent Service, and according to a lot of people, it's one of the best alternatives for Rolex Submariner. But I disagree. I don't think this is a good Rolex Submariner alternative, and in today's review, I'll try to explain why. But first, as always, let's talk about the case and the dimensions. This watch features a 41mm case diameter. It's about 47mm from one lug to another. The lug opening is 20mm and it's about 12.1mm in case height. The case and the bracelet are both made out of stainless steel and the finishes are excellent. Now this is not exactly a cheap watch. The cheapest version you can get is about $1,500. If you want it with the date, that's extra $200, and if you want one with the date and the Cyclops over the date, that's another $100. So the watch in front of us in total is $1,800. And I gotta tell you, it does feel like an $1,800 watch. It feels hefty, the finishes are fantastic, the edges of the case are very sharp. It's exactly what you would expect for a watch around $2,000. It features a sapphire bezel insert, 120 click unidirectional diver style bezel, and the bezel action is fantastic. Take a listen. It's very smooth, very clicky, exactly what you would expect from sort of luxury-ish watch. This bezel is also very easy to turn because it has enough grip. There's this sort of coin edge all around the bezel. It's very aggressive, very pronounced, and it serves two functions. As I mentioned, the first function, to make it easier to grab and turn this bezel. The second function is actually more visual. The way this bezel plays with the light is very interesting. It adds quite a bit of visual interest to this watch. You wouldn't expect this little detail to have such a striking visual effect, but it does. There's also a screw-down crown at the 3 o'clock position. No crown guards for this watch. It's just sort of naked standout crown, very sort of vintage inspired, and I think it actually looks really good with this design. And thanks to the screw-down crown as well as the screw-down caseback, this watch comes with 300 meters of water resistance. One of my favorite features about this watch is actually the crystal. I know it sounds weird, but let me explain. This watch has one of the best, if not the best, applications of anti-reflective coating that I've ever seen. Up to this point, the best one was on my Breitling Avenger. I talked about it in the review of that watch. Once you see very good, clear anti-reflective coating, it's hard to go back to other watches. The glare is just non-existent. This watch, I think, takes it to the next level. I think the anti-reflective coating on this watch is even better than my Breitling. So there's pretty much no reflections at all. It's a very interesting effect because it seems as if you're looking right at the dial, as if there is no crystal. The only thing that gives away the fact that there is a crystal is actually that Cyclops at the 3 o'clock position. If I were to spec my Ginault, I probably would omit the Cyclops. I think it just has a little bit too much of an homage to the Rolex. Without this Cyclops, it becomes its own thing, even more so than it is right now. This watch features a matte dial with applied indexes for hour marks and a date window at the 3 o'clock position. These dials are hand assembled and they feature rhodium plating all around the indexes as well as the set of hands. Now the set of hands have slight beveling to them, and of course they're in the shape of a sword. There's also the red seconds hand with a lollipop. There is a slight pop of red color on the dial as well. That's the name of this model, Silent Service. Below that, there is another 3 lines of writing. For some reason on this watch, I don't mind all that writing. I think it actually looks pretty attractive, visually speaking. Now, I know some people will disagree with that. They would prefer this watch to have less writing. I'm not one of those people. I think it looks fine. Where I would take out some writing is closer to the logo. Of course, that's by the 12 o'clock position. You have the logo, you have Ginault, and then you have kinetic continuous date written below that. I'd personally get rid of the kinetic continuous date and just have the logo. That's it. Another piece of writing on this dial is all the way at the bottom where it says hand built in America. Now it doesn't say made in America. I think to write made in USA, there is a very strict criteria that you have to meet. It's not like made in Switzerland where there is a little bit more leeway. So that's why I think Ginault had to put hand built in America. I've actually seen that on a few different watches from American companies. As far as the lume goes, it's excellent. The application is very even, and as you can see, the bezel is also lumed. This model comes with a stainless steel bracelet. The finishing on the bracelet is great. It's all brushed finish except for the high polish finish on the sides of the links. It's a standard sort of oyster-like bracelet with a very similar clasp to what you would find on the Rolex. Even the gliding lock mechanism is sort of similar, so you have that adjustment on the fly. There are quite a few different micro adjustments that you can go through, no tools required. All you have to do is pull out the clasp like so, and then you can just adjust it to your desired length and pop it back into place. To resize this bracelet, you use screws. That's what you would expect for a watch around $2,000. And overall, the bracelet feels very solid, very substantial, like the rest of the watch. There isn't even too much play between the first link and the case. All the tolerances are minimal. The only thing that I wish this bracelet featured are quick release pins. I know that it doesn't come with every watch, but I think now in 2024, moving into 2025, more and more companies are giving us quick release pins on their bracelets. Because of course, taking off the bracelet without any tools required is a very nice feature to have. It just makes your life much easier and makes watch a lot more fun to play with because you can put it on any strap you want. As far as the fit on the wrist goes, on my 7¼ inch wrist, I think it looks fantastic. I wouldn't want it to be any bigger or any smaller. I think the proportions are just right. The lug-to-lug distance is also not too substantial, 47 millimeters. So even if you have a bit of a smaller wrist, you should be fine wearing a watch like this. On top of that, the watch is very slim, 12 millimeters in case height or just around there. So you can wear it to the office. It will slide under the cuff of your shirt, no problem. This watch is pretty comfortable. I didn't really find any uncomfortable points other than one. The case is quite sharp at the bottom. So sometimes if you move your wrist in a certain direction, it does dig in a little bit. It's not bad, like it's not gonna cut your wrist, but that's the only sort of pressure point that I noticed. Everything else about the comfort is great. The Ginault Silent Service is powered by the Sellita SW200-1 automatic movement. This movement features 26 joules, it beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it has a 38-hour power reserve. So Ginault actually sends you a little certificate where they test the movement over a period of a few weeks in different positions, and they adjust the accuracy. Now, it's not COSC certified, but it is a sort of more accurate than a standard Sellita out of the box. They take the extra step to adjust the movement's accuracy. Overall, I think they did a fantastic job with this watch. It's very solid. It has very few negatives other than the high price. Of course, you have to pay for quality. Now, there are a couple of drawbacks. Number one, that comparison with Rolex as an alternative. As I said, I don't think it's a good alternative to a Rolex Submariner. The best way I can explain it is with the car metaphor. If you're not into cars, excuse this metaphor, but that's the best I can come up with. If you look at the new Lotus Emira, you can say that that's an alternative to a Ferrari 488 or something like that. If you want the Ferrari, you will buy the Ferrari because the two are in a very different price point. People that are shopping for a Ferrari are not really shopping for a Lotus. And it's a similar story with this watch. If you want a Rolex Submariner, you want it for many other reasons other than just the quality and the accuracy of the movement. And this watch will not be a good alternative for the Rolex, but it will be a pretty good alternative for other watches within this price category. The last thing I want to mention about Ginault was that there was a bit of controversy happening about 3-4 years ago. I actually made a video about it because there were some allegations against the owner of the company and against the company itself. But 3 years later, nothing really materialized. The company is still operational. They still have a pretty good reputation, and none of these allegations were proven. So just keep that in mind. If it's important to you, maybe do some research and look into it so you can buy with confidence. I appreciate you watching this video all the way until the end. If you enjoyed the review, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the Ginault Silent Service. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you going to pick one up? Leave your comments in the comment section below. I always enjoy reading them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.